What is good, MexitPlanners? Are you thinking about buying or renting a home in Mexico? Cool, but just so you know, house maintenance here isn't like what you're used to in the United States or Canada. In today's video, I'm breaking down 10 things that you have to do to keep your place running smoothly. Skip these 10 maintenance things and you might end up with mystery rashes, surprise roaches, mosquito roommates, and a shower that feels like it's running on drips and dreams. Let's get it. Number 10 on my list of maintenance things to do for your home in Merida, Mexico is to make sure you replace your dehumidifiers. They sell these things called Damp Rid at just about every local department grocery store or hardware store. These are basically boxes that absorb the humidity out of the air and keep the moisture levels down in all of your rooms. So you want to have these in your closets to prevent mold on your clothes and shoes. You want to have these in your pantry. You want to have these pretty much in every room around the house, honestly. And so you can get a 12 pack of these or what have you for just a few bucks, like maybe $20 or $30 for 12 of these. And you want to replace these once, maybe twice a year, depending on how much it's raining, things of that nature. You'll see this filling up when it's time to replace, but definitely, you want to have these throughout the house and replace them at least once or twice a year. Number 9 on my list of maintenance items to do for your home in Merida, Mexico is to clean all of your ACs and your fans. Your ACs can get extremely dirty with all of the moistures, and we're talking about thorough cleaning. You want to have your AC units completely taken apart. You want to have the compressors cleaned on the roof. And in some cases, you may even want to replace the taping and the insulation for the AC. So making sure you do regular AC maintenance. Now, I would recommend this at least once a year, perhaps every 9 months or so, depending on how much you're using those units. So you want to make sure your AC units are completely clean to avoid mold buildup and spores and things of that nature. Number 8 on my list of top 10 maintenance items in Merida, Mexico is to make sure you clean your shower heads and your faucet heads with vinegar. So the water here in Merida is super hard. It is full of minerals and calcium more than anything, and you'll actually see little stones inside of your shower head when you take it apart. Rocks may even fall down into the shower. So don't worry about that. If you do this tip, number 8, which is take your shower heads and dip it in a vinegar solution, a vinegar and water solution, or just pure vinegar, apple cider vinegar, or whatever type of vinegar you want, it will dissolve the sorrow or the little rocks, the calcium rocks that build up here in Merida, Mexico. And it will clean out your shower heads and improve your water pressure. So make sure that at least 3 to 4 times a year, you're cleaning your shower heads, making sure you get rid of all the rocks and calcium buildup that's inside of the water here in Merida, Mexico. Now, speaking of water related things, number 7 on my list is to make sure you seal the roof with a water impermeable paint, right? So you want to make sure your roofs are sealed every summer before the rainy season with basically an impermeable paint that will prevent water from getting into the cinder blocks. So that is something that you're going to want to ask your landlord if you're renting a place. When was the last time that the roof has been sealed? Because without that, you could have mold and mildew growing inside the walls that you don't even see, or you'll see spots and cracks and crevices on the roof line, and you'll know that you have a leak in your roof if it's not being sealed correctly. So you want to make sure that your roof is sealed every single year, and I would recommend doing that at least once a year. Now, number 6 on the list is to make sure that you clean your septic tank. So most homes here are not on a sewer system. Parque Yalamon was one of the first neighborhoods to be built on a sewer system, but most neighborhoods here have septic tanks, or most houses have septic tanks. We have a septic tank here at my house. And so you're going to want to make sure that you get that septic tank pumped every year to make sure it's cleaned out and that kind of thing. And you'd be surprised, those things are typically full of pests and cockroaches. So make sure that they're cleaning out the septic tank at least once a year. You want to get your septic tank clean. Now, number 5 on the list is related to pest. This is treating your house both outside and inside with pest control. You want to have the outside sprayed, all the greenery, that kind of thing sprayed for mosquitoes. You want to have the house sprayed for ticks, your yard, spray it for ticks if you have pets. Build a barrier around your house and make sure all the creepy crawlers like spiders and scorpions and roaches and all of those things that can get in, stay out, right? You also want to treat the inside of your home because the Yucatan has more ants than any place I've ever seen. They have them all the way from the big leaf cutter ants down to little microscopic ants that you can't even see, but they will find their way into all your sugar and your grains and things of that nature. So definitely making sure you spray your home at least 2 to 3 times per year for pest control, making sure that all of the things are outside of your house and they stay outside of your house. Another pest control item is making sure you have these little plastic covers that go over the drains. They go over the drain in the shower and in the sink because those cockroaches actually come up through the drains in your house. So making sure that your drains are covered in your showers and in your sinks will keep the cockroaches away. That's another thing you want to do as it relates to pest control. Number 4 on my list is to make sure you check all of your batteries in all of your devices. Now, I'm talking about batteries and things like your air conditioning remote controls, but also your UPS batteries. If you're using uninterruptible power supplies for things like your computers and what have you, you're going to want to make sure you test that battery to make sure it's still functional. And particularly as we move into May, June, and July, the hottest parts of the year, where people are using a lot of energy, there are a lot of brownouts and power outages. You're going to want to make sure that your batteries and your uninterruptible power supplies are solid. Number 3 on my list is to make sure that you fill your gas tanks for your house. So I have a huge tank on my roof and we have to fill that twice a year. So every 6 months or so, we run our dryer on our gas tank and we run our gas stove on the gas tank and the hot water heater. So those are the 3 appliances that use the gas tank in our house. And so the gas tank, our gas tank is 700 liters, which again is a massive tank. And so we only have to fill that twice a year, which is a couple $100s for twice a year. It works out to about $30 to $40 a month for gas. But we have a company that we call, they're 24/7 unless it's a holiday, and they come out and they fill your gas. They climb up on the roof, they fill the gas. And so you want to do that twice a year. Now, some of these homes have little tanks. They have like little blue CO2 looking tanks that are about 4 feet high. And if you have that, depending on what you're running on that, you may have to fill that up more often. So knowing a gas company to call to get your tank filled up whenever it's out, most of them are 24/7, but knowing who to call and making sure you have a full gas tank, or at least don't wait until the gas tank runs out, then that is important. And I recommend you do that. At least for us, it's twice a year. So number 2 on the list, speaking of water, is making sure you refill your water jugs every so often, right? So for us, my water company, which is ePura, they come by on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And normally they call me the day before on Tuesdays to find out if I want to place an order for water. And so we have these big 5-gallon jugs that we use for all of our drinking water and cooking water, right? So I have 5 of those 5-gallon jugs, and therefore I don't have to refill, but every 3 or so weeks I'll get new Garaphones. But I also will end up buying liter bottles and smaller bottles just to make sure we have it for drinking and put it in the refrigerator and for taking with us. So making sure you have plenty of drinking water is a must living here in the hot climate of Merida, Mexico. And number 1 on the list is to make sure you clean your Tinaco. So another water related item, all of the water for the house that we use for showers that I was telling you about with all the hard water is actually pumped from, in my house, it's pumped from a well. In a lot of homes, it comes from the city, from the street, but it is full of sorrow. And that water goes up to the roof at the highest point to the Tinaco. And the Tinaco is how the water is generally gravity fed, but I also have a booster pump on mine. So whenever the faucets are open, a few seconds after the faucets are open, the booster pump will kick in and give us high pressure. You need to make sure you check your Tinaco at least once a year, maybe twice a year, just to make sure that it's clean. You want to clean it out in case there's any algae or anything growing on. You want to make sure that the top is secure. I've heard everything from dead animals being inside of the Tinaco because the top wasn't on correctly. and just having lots of sorrow buildup. So all of the sorrow that makes it into the house actually goes to the Tinaco first. And sometimes it'll be just full of sorrow, which is the calcium buildup that's at the bottom of the Tinaco. So cleaning your Tinaco at least twice a year is a definite recommendation and my number one tip to keep your skin healthy and to avoid any rashes or hair breakage or any of those things. Now, I'm gonna give you guys one more tip, and that is to make sure if you have a yard like mine, I have a front garden and a back garden, and really I have a side garden. So I have like almost 3 gardens in my house. And one of the things that's very different here is gardening, just making sure landscaping and keeping up with the landscape. One of the reasons it's so different is that there are requirements for you to bag all of the yard debris. We have palm trees in our house, and palms will drop. Palm trees look beautiful, but they shed their leaves quite often, or their big palm branches quite often. Those branches have to be chopped up and then bundled in a certain way, right? In order for the sanitation company, Sana, to take them away. All of your yard debris, from leaves to everything else, flower petals and whatever else that goes on in the yard, has to be put in a one of the big outdoor garbage bags. And so one of the things you're gonna wanna make sure you have are garbage bags for your gardener. Finding a good gardener is the bonus tip, and making sure that you have someone, if you have multiple gardens or a big yard, making sure that you have someone that knows exactly what to do and can take care of all your plants and what have you. So I hope you guys like this list. If there's any more things that you would add to this list, please leave me comments below. If there's something that surprised you, leave me comments below. I'd love to get some feedback from you. Please do me a favor, like this video. It helps the algorithm spread the video to more people that need to see it. And if you really like this video, check out the one I did years ago on how plumbing works in your house here in Mexico. Until next time, MexitPlans Monty, I'm out.